Let's imagine together what life was like long ago, over 2,000 years in the past, in a little town called Nazareth. Nazareth was small and quiet, a place where people worked hard and lived simply. Among the people there was a young woman named Mary. She wasn't wealthy or powerful, but her heart was full of love for God. She was kind, humble, and faithful. God saw this in Mary and knew she was very special, even if others didn't realize it yet. One day, something incredible happened to Mary. As she went about her day, maybe fetching water or praying, an angel appeared to her. Now, when we think of angels, we imagine their light, their beauty, and their presence that feels holy and awe-inspiring. Seeing an angel is not something that happens every day, and it must have been both surprising and overwhelming. Mary, like anyone, might have felt nervous or even a little scared. But the angel, whose name was Gabriel, spoke to her with gentleness and reassurance. "Don't be afraid, Mary." Gabriel wasn't just any angel, he was one of God's messengers, sent for very important tasks. When he told Mary not to be afraid, it wasn't just about calming her heart, it was also to prepare her for the wonderful news he was about to share. Gabriel told Mary that God was honoring her. This meant that God had chosen her for something truly extraordinary, something that would change not only her life but the lives of everyone in the world. God saw how much Mary loved him and trusted him, and he chose her to be part of his plan to bring his son into the world. Now let's pause for a moment and think about what this means. God, the creator of everything, the stars, the earth, the oceans, and even you and me, looked at Mary, a humble young woman in a small town, and decided that she was perfect for this special role. Isn't that amazing? It shows us that God doesn't choose people based on how rich or powerful they are. Instead, he looks at their hearts. Mary's heart was full of faith, and that's what made her special to God. Gabriel continued with his message, and this is where it gets even more incredible. He told Mary, "You will conceive and give birth to a son." This was no ordinary baby. This child would be the Son of God, the Savior people had been waiting for. And Gabriel even told her the baby's name, Jesus. Names were very important in those days. They carried meaning and often revealed something about the person's identity or purpose. The name Jesus means the Lord saves. From the moment this name was spoken, it showed what Jesus would do. He would save people from their sins and help them return to God's love. Imagine how Mary might have felt at that moment. She was young, living a simple life, and now she was being told that she would be the mother of the Son of God. It was a lot to take in, but Mary didn't doubt God's plan. Instead, she trusted him completely. She didn't say, "Why me?" or "I'm not ready." Instead, she said, "I am the Lord's servant." Mary's faith and trust in God were so strong that she was willing to accept whatever he asked of her, even though it was something she could never have imagined. Let's think about why this moment is so important. A long time before Mary's time, the world had fallen into sin. People had turned away from God, and their hearts were full of selfishness and pain. But God never stopped loving his people. He promised that one day he would send a Savior to bring them back to him. This Savior would heal their hearts and show them how to live in love and peace. The promise of a Savior was something people had been waiting for, hoping for, and praying for. And now, in this moment, that promise was beginning to come true. God could have sent his Son in any way he wanted. Jesus could have appeared as a mighty king or a powerful warrior. But instead, God chose to send him as a baby born to a humble woman in a small town. Do you know why? It's because God wanted to show us that his love isn't about power or riches. It's about being close to us, understanding us, and living among us. By coming into the world as a baby, Jesus experienced everything we do growing up, learning, feeling joy and pain. He came to show us that God is not far away but right here with us. When we hear this story, we can learn so much from Mary. Even though she might have felt unsure or unprepared, she trusted God completely. She believed that he would guide her and give her the strength she needed. And God did just that. Mary's trust in God reminds us that even when we feel small or ordinary, God sees us and has a plan for us. He can use anyone, no matter who they are, to do great things. This story is also about God's love for the world. By sending Jesus, God was giving the greatest gift anyone could ever receive. Jesus came to show us how to live with kindness, forgiveness, and love. He came to bring us back to God, to make a way for us to be with Him forever. And it all began with Mary, a young woman who said yes to God's plan. So whenever you hear these words, don't be afraid, Mary. God is honoring you. Look, you will conceive and give birth to a son, and you will name him Jesus. Remember what they mean. They are words of hope, love, and a promise fulfilled. They remind us that God keeps His promises and that He loves each of us more than we can imagine. Just like Mary, we can trust God's plan for our lives, knowing that He is always with us, guiding us and loving us.